Well, I feel like we have such a variety of experiences and backgrounds here and doing different things within the industry, which I suppose would kind of lead me to open up with, I think, our big question. Obviously, this is the women's edition of Beer and Broadband. So within all these different realms we're in, I'd love to kind of have a talk about the impact women have been having and the growth of women in this industry, which I'm sure we can acknowledge if we've ever been to a conference, is currently a male-dominated industry. But thoughts on the impact, on the growth, on what we're seeing with women in the industry.
Well, I can jump in there. I think one of the things that was fascinating to me, I work a lot in education, on the education side and the health services side and telemedicine before I got into this project. And part of the thing I was amazed about was the existing business models of incumbent ISPs and the difficulty of getting services to the most rural areas. So while I dealt with a lot of women in the major ISP world, but what I found is that getting into this, you have to be really compassionate and have a combination of the technical background as well as an understanding of local government and how to work with communities who are not professional politicians. And so I just sort of feel like well, I haven't spent too much time thinking about the role of it as being sort of women-led. I just feel like we are compassionate when it comes to, and just good planners and listeners when it comes to figuring out what the community need is and helping build trust. I attend thousands of meetings on this and a lot of county commission meetings, and I'm just amazed at how reluctant local officials are to trust anyone. And I think that needs to be returned to this industry. And I think women would be really strong at doing that.
Yeah, Christina, I'll just add on to that, like, I don't want to I don't know, buy into stereotypes of women as being this and men being this, but I do think we are uniquely qualified for that local consult piece that is really baked into the Infrastructure Act and these new NTIA grant recommendations that we have. Collaboration. I mean, women are more, apt to collaborate, and we're not as linear thinkers. So I do think that there is a lot of possibility for women to establish themselves as leaders in this industry, because when you look at who is, in the state broadband space, who are the federal program officers, and some of these other leaders, like even just look at Rosenworcel, like years ago when I was in the policy advocacy space, I would hearken to her homework gap research that nobody cared about, right? And then after the pandemic, everyone's like, oh my word, like these disparities that result from a lack of broadband access and these inequities are really like not fair and not cool. And now she is the chairwoman of the FCC. And so, and then you look at like Shirley at NCTA and the work she's doing on the advocacy side. So I think like on the policy side, women are really setting the stage for like, we're not going to stand for these inequities. Like we want our kids to be in a better position than we were in. And so I think that's really exciting. But I also don't want to like just boil it down to like policy or, kind of like government relations, collaboration, because I think women have a real role in the technical piece too, right? And how do we then bring women up, or the next generation up, and this kind of technical side, and not like silo them as like, you're here to like make connections versus you're here to like be the engineering minds, because women aren't like uniquely disqualified from being engineers, right?
It's an interesting, I think I come from a different aspect of this. I think that as coming from a network operator, I think that
Yes.
women come into this and they have a different viewpoint of what they see when you walk into an organization as a businesswoman versus what a technical person might look at. And women just like, if we come in with a different perspective, and we should embrace the uniqueness that is us. I think that we've been told over and over in our life that we should be these men or act like these men. No, we need to use what we have as our power as a superpower when we walk into a business world. And I think that is what makes us unique. I agree. I walk into most of my conference rooms, walk into most of my meetings, and I'm the only female there. But I see something that nobody else can see, who is in that room as well. So I think we sometimes we want to be that person at the table, but no, we're different, and we should embrace that we're different, and we have some great things about us.
Yeah, I just add, I think you're right, Kim, and it's really about diversity. And I think there's a lot coming out recently, just post-pandemic, about, you know, what happens when you bring women in and you create women leaders, because let's be honest, women leaders are created by getting a seat at the table. So I think, you know, the statistics say it all, right? It's like 25% greater revenue when you have women leadership. I mean, when you have multiple women leaders, it's even greater. So there is different mindset and different thinking, but that gives you a different angle to look at things that wasn't there before. And so that creates better profits, you know, better strategy, and just overall better business. And we need to have women at every aspect, not just policy. I think you're correct that women do have, we sort of have this ability to come in and you know, see the personal side of things and put our spin on it. And I agree that we're pushing for, you know, bridging these inequities, because we may be more apt to think about the next generation, but I don't think it ends there. It's just giving them a seat at the table in every aspect of broadband and letting that take its course and bridge all of those gaps and make everyone's business work better.
And I would like to give some kudos to the men. And I think you're right, Ashley, to give men who give the opportunity to a female who gives them a seat at the table. My boss took a risk with me, and he let me speak years ago. And it was, I just got that one inkling through that door, and then you can run with it. But it is just getting that first opportunity to make yourself run with it.